Let's keep it real. And that's why on this show, sometimes we get a little pushback, we get a little hate. Oh, well, it's a thin line between love and hate, so we can deal with it, right? But I've been saying this forever. Like, you're never going to get respect when people got to pet you on the head. When they got to say, oh, good boy, good girl. When they got to rub you, you know what I mean? Instead of just being real with you. I don't need you to rub me. I don't need you to glaze me, as she said. Keep it 1,000. Wow, that's how.
You're watching a former NFL All-Pro completely dismantle the WNBA players' negotiation strategy on national television. And the uncomfortable truth is that he's not wrong. Marcellus Wiley said what many people have been thinking, but were unwilling to say out loud. The players went from enjoying unprecedented public support to alienating that very same fan base. And now they find themselves stuck in a stalemate with owners who refuse to budge. So, how did it all lead to this point?
World, so they can be great. You're the best NFL defensive end pass rusher that went to an Ivy League school that's from the hood. Hey, bro, I don't need all that. It's making you delusional. Support and this false, not if I'm not. Like, this false support and this false confidence, all you do is delude.
False support breeds false confidence. That's a core diagnosis. When Wiley talks about people patting you on the head, instead of being honest, he's pointing to the media ecosystem that has surrounded the WNBA over the past 2 years. The league finally gained real momentum after Caitlin Clark's arrival, pushed ratings to levels not seen since 1997, the league's inaugural season. But rather than quietly leveraging that momentum at the negotiating table, players took their demands public in ways that didn't align with financial reality. The numbers tell the story clearly. The WNBA's highest ratings came in 1997, followed by more than 2 decades of decline. Even now, in 2024, ratings represent the second highest point in league.
WNBA had its highest ratings, and then the second highest ratings are right now. Everything in the middle, cratered. What happened? I tell you what happened. One, we get tired of ceremony. Everybody gonna show up for the wedding. Everybody gonna wish you well with the honeymoon. Who coming over on Wednesday in about 6 months just to kick it?
The wedding analogy cuts deep because it perfectly captures what happened. Everyone showed up for the WNBA's launch in 1997. Celebrities sat courtside. Media coverage was massive, and there was genuine excitement about women's professional basketball finally having a sustainable league. But weddings are ceremonies, and ceremonies create artificial attendance. 6 months later, on a random Wednesday night, who's still showing up? That's the real test of a relationship, and the WNBA failed that test for nearly 20 years. The league survived only because NBA owners were willing to absorb losses year after year, which isn't sustainable business. It's charity with basketball attached. Now, just as the WNBA is finally regaining real momentum, players are negotiating as if they've been selling out arenas for decades, rather than recognizing they're only in the second year of potential turnaround.
Because there's a home team and an away team. We like sports because it's home and visitor. Go at it. We got to have rooting interests. And they don't want to create that, so then they suffer. Just too much pandering. Golly, just talk about it. She's sorry. She good. She's great. Candace Parker can't say Paige Beckers need to work on defense.
Yeah. See, it's stuff like that. And that's what Rachel Demita was getting at when she said, yo, the WNBA media is terrible because you can't even say, like, they wanted Candace Parker to lie and pretend like Paige Beckers was the second coming of Kawhi Leonard. And she got pummeled for it. She got pummeled for saying, wait a minute, you guys, y'all kind of doing a lot. She hasn't made an all-defensive team.
This is where the situation becomes uncomfortable for the pro-WNBA media crowd. Rachel Demita, who spent years covering basketball and building a massive platform, openly said that WNBA media coverage is poor because honest criticism isn't allowed. And she was immediately torn apart for saying it. Even Candace Parker, a legend of the game and a current analyst, couldn't point out that Paige Bueckers hasn't yet made an all-defensive team without facing backlash. Think about that for a moment. A Hall of Fame player can't offer basic statistical context about a college athlete without being attacked. That isn't real media coverage. It's propaganda, when an entire media ecosystem prioritizes praise over honest analysis. It creates a bubble where players believe they have far more leverage than they actually do. Meanwhile, owners are negotiating based on financial reality, and the numbers tell a very different story. The WNBA has lost money in 27 of its 28 seasons.
And I like the song too, it's a banger. But I'll be like, I say, baby, we run the world. We, men and women. Depends on what you running. Don't be going around here thinking, kids start that all the time. Girls, you can't do it, daddy, because you're not a girl. Other than childbirth, I don't know what you're talking about, baby. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you guys thinking. Yeah, Chris Henry says what I've always said. Lower the damn rim.
Now, Wiley is turning his attention to the cultural messaging that helped create the sense of delusion. A child singing, "Who run the world? Girls," is harmless and uplifting. But when that message evolves into professional athletes believing they deserve NBA-level revenue sharing while generating only a fraction of the revenue, empowerment turns into fantasy. The WNBA is pushing for a 50-50 revenue split in the new CBA, similar to the NBA, where players receive roughly half of basketball-related income. The difference is scale. The NBA generates around $9 billion annually, while the WNBA brings in approximately $200 million and has never produced consistent profits. Those figures aren't rooted in sexism, they're simple math. And that's why owners are refusing, because agreeing to that split will require writing even larger checks to cover growing losses.
Closer. The damn time is shorter. You can't do nothing with this damn rim. Just, all right, keep suffering then. Keep suffering. Silly. Like, help yourself. Help yourself, help yourself. Give me an exhibition. I guarantee you, if you hype it up enough, All-Star game, 9-foot rims. Fix the WNBA. Because what's going to happen is everybody going to be watching that damn All-Star game like, damn. My God, did Paige Beckers just windmill on somebody? And then you'll be like, I got to see that again. So then we watch a regular WNBA game. We'd be like, boycott. No, WNBA without the...
The debate about lowering the rim always provokes strong reactions. But Wiley is making a legitimate point about improving the product. The WNBA already uses a smaller ball, a closer three-point line, and shorter quarters. Adjustments made because the average WNBA player is several inches shorter and significantly less explosive than the average NBA player. That's biology, not criticism. So why is rim height treated as the one untouchable adjustment? Wiley's hypothetical of a 9-foot rim for an all-star game actually makes sense from an entertainment standpoint. Imagine Paige Bueckers attacking in transition, or Angel Reese catching an alley-oop and finishing with authority. That will be must-watch television. The dunk is one of basketball's most exciting plays. And by keeping rims at 10 feet, the WNBA has largely removed it from its product. Yet even raising the idea invites accusations of disrespect toward women's basketball. That reaction is exactly the problem Wiley is highlighting. The league has built an environment where critique is met with claims of sexism instead of engagement with the substance of the feedback.
I don't know, man. These players seem dug in, bro. These players seems dug in. I don't know, man. Nasty work, though. Here it says, let's get to this. It says Fevers make first ever announcement on Kelsey Mitchell amid WNBA offseason.
Here is a clean, structured rewrite broken into clear paragraphs with smoother flow, corrected grammar, and consistent tone while preserving the original meaning. Now we arrive at the heart of the issue. The players appear dug in, having made public declarations about what they believe they deserve while framing the negotiation as a civil rights issue rather than a business discussion. At the same time, owners are looking at balance sheets that reflect decades of losses, interrupted by only one brief spike in interest that may not even be sustainable. The disconnect between perception and financial reality has never been wider. Consider the Indiana Fever publicly supporting Kelsey Mitchell on social media while she plays overseas during the CBA stalemate. That kind of relationship mirrors how NBA teams treat their players. But the difference is that NBA players generate enough revenue to justify it. This highlights what Marcellus Wiley understands and what WNBA players seem to be overlooking. Leverage in negotiations comes from alternatives and consequences. If talks collapse, players' primary alternative is overseas leagues that offer less money and worse conditions. Owners, on the other hand, can shut down a league that has lost money for nearly 3 decades. That isn't equal leverage, not even close. The fact that players enter negotiations acting as though they held all the cards reflects exactly what Wiley means by delusion fueled by false support. For 2 years, the WNBA media ecosystem told players they were finally receiving the respect they deserved, that Caitlin Clark proved the audience exists, and that rising ratings meant everything had changed. Some of that is true. The audience does exist, ratings did spike, and the league is better off than it was historically. But better than terrible is not the same as genuinely strong. Context matters. The WNBA's highest-rated regular season game in 2024 drew about 2.3 million viewers, which is phenomenal by WNBA standards. It is also less than a mediocre NFL regular season game, a solid NBA playoff matchup, or a ranked college football game. Players heard record ratings and interpreted that as NBA-level leverage. Owners heard record ratings and saw a possible path to breaking even if they proceeded carefully. Those are fundamentally different interpretations of the same data, and that's why negotiations stalled. Wiley's point about identity politics versus excellence is crucial. The WNBA has marketed itself heavily on representation and breaking barriers, which matters culturally but doesn't pay the bills. The NFL and NBA don't succeed because of identity. They succeed because they produce entertainment that hundreds of millions of people want to consume regardless of who is playing. The WNBA is still in a phase where a significant portion of its audience watches out of obligation or political alignment rather than pure entertainment value, and that model is not sustainable. This is where media coverage becomes part of the problem. Passionate fan bases are built on debate, criticism, and honest analysis. NBA fans argue endlessly about LeBron versus Jordan because the media allows those conversations. NFL fans debate quarterbacks because analysts are free to criticize even the best players. In contrast, WNBA coverage has often demanded constant positivity, treating critique as disrespect. Rachel DeMita was attacked for saying this openly. Candace Parker was criticized simply for providing defensive statistics about Paige Buchers. The message to media members became clear: stay positive or face backlash. That environment creates players who genuinely believe they have more leverage than they do because no one with a platform is allowed to tell them otherwise. Owners, meanwhile, remember every failed marketing push, empty arena, and financial loss since the league's 1997 launch. So when players demand 50-50 revenue sharing, guaranteed contracts, and expanded rosters, the owner's response is straightforward: show sustained growth for several more years. That isn't unreasonable. It's standard business practice. You don't overhaul your financial model after one strong year following decades of losses. The tragedy is that the players actually had a real window of leverage. If they had negotiated quietly during the peak of Caitlin Clark mania in 2024, they likely could have secured meaningful concessions from owners seeing genuine upside for the first time in years. Instead, by going public, framing everything as a moral issue, and giving owners time to evaluate whether the surge would last, that leverage evaporated. Now it's January 2025. The season is over. Caitlin Clark is playing overseas. The rating spike is a memory, not a current pressure point. Owners feel no urgency. Players' leverage is diminished, and both sides are locked in a public standoff. Look at the outcome. No deal. Players scatter across overseas leagues. Owners unmoved, and a fan base that has shifted from energized to exhausted. That isn't what winning a negotiation looks like. It's what losing leverage in real time looks like. And the saddest part is that it didn't have to end this way.